Hello, I'm Eva Eronen from YLA Finnish Broadcasting Company. According to rights groups, dozens of people were killed during last year's protest, and also there have been enforced disappearances and many are still missing. Your Excellency, President William Ruto, what is the Kenyan government doing to ensure such violations will not happen again?
Thank you very much for asking that question. I know that it will be a subject of discussion between my guests here with members of the civil society and other members of the Kenyan society. The statistics are arguable this way or the other way, but that does not take away from the issues that have been raised around what happened on the dates you have mentioned. There are three things that I can speak to it. Number one is that there is an accountability mechanism to make sure that that situation is attended to and a proper accountability mechanism is put in place. That's number one. Number two is the fact that I undertook to the country that being a democracy, and robustly so, that Kenyans must not, as has happened in the past, where Kenyans disappeared and their bodies were found in all manner of places, that will not happen under my administration. And all the people who disappeared or who were abducted in what you said, all of them have been brought back to their families and to their homes. And I have given clarity and firm instructions that nothing of that kind of nature will happen again. And that it was my commitment as I became president that extrajudicial disappearances of Kenyans will not be part of what we are doing as a nation. Additionally, we have taken proactive steps. My first assignment when I became president was to extend the independence of our investigative agencies, including the police, give them financial autonomy, give them operational autonomy that is guaranteed in the Constitution. And we have since transferred the budget from the Office of the President for the police to the Police Service Commission, and the Inspector General of the Police is now solely responsible for matters operation, for matters finances, and that my office has now nothing to do with the operations, the financing of police activities, to give them independence. Secondly is to enhance the independence of the judiciary by making sure that we expand the budget for the judiciary, make sure that whatever other interventions that are necessary to make sure that our judiciary is independent and can function at an optimal level, including what Cabinet approved a few weeks ago to make sure that judges have a proper retirement package that also ensures that they have transportation and other benefits that initially were not available to them, as part of my push to make sure that the judiciary is independent and is capacitated to be able to discharge their responsibility as part of checks and balances between the different arms of government.
I think we'll take a final question.
Your Excellencies, President Tab and the host, President William. My name is Seth Olale from Citizen TV. My question is about what happens after university. What are some of the opportunities and the channels that young people can explore, in particular using technology, artificial intelligence? I know that Kenya has made a tremendous extension in having young people get online jobs, but in as far as Finland is concerned, how can the youth in Kenya, after they finish education without necessarily being employed in both the private and the public sector, how can they self-employ themselves using technology? Thank you.
Thanks. Obviously, a very big question, and I'll try to condense it to saying that I think we now live in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution, which is essentially a technological revolution which has greater speed than any revolutions that we've had previously. So when you combine things such as robotization or artificial intelligence or biotechnology or quantum computing, we are raising the pace of societal change to a point whereby traditional jobs or traditional professions will change. This change means that we're changing the economy and the way in which we work, we're changing politics and the way in which we communicate, and actually we're changing science and the way in which we are as human beings. If we try to give the youth a perspective to say that go into one trade and that'll be your lifelong calling, I think we would be twisting the truth. I mean, I have two youngsters, I guess I can call them nowadays, who are 23 and 21. And what I try to tell them is that their careers are going to be very different from the careers of their parents. So Suzanne, my wife, is a lawyer. She had a legal profession and stuck to it. My profession or calling was in international relations, and I've always been able to move back and forth. But we don't know what the job market is going to be, 5 years from now, let alone 10 years ago. Just go back 10 years and everyone said you need to learn coding. And now we know that artificial intelligence does the coding for us. So my only advice to young students in both Finland and Kenya is that get a broad base when you do your bachelor's degree or a master's degree, and don't be adamant about sticking to it, because life at the end of the day is going to be a combination of study and work, and the key is always to be curious, always to challenge yourself and find new avenues. If you have that open mind, I think life will take you places, quite often unpredictable and surprising places, but it's a good mentality to have, that you don't get shocked about change, because their life is going to be about change. Absolute final point, there are a lot of youth today that are worried, that are frustrated, that are even distraught about what's going on in the world. Only one message: each and every youngster in this world has agency. Do something about it. Try to improve the world, and it'll turn out all right.
Maybe just to add just a bit on what my good brother, I think he has spoken to that question comprehensively, but I will add to what he has said, maybe in Kiswahili, kazi ni kazi. That's part of the Kenyan psyche, that there is a diversification of opportunity. It is not a single file, it is not a traditional kind of work that we've always known, that in the space where we are with technology, with a changing climate environment, with agriculture going towards biotechnology, with all the issues, Internet of Things, and what we are doing around digitization. Just came from this morning's bilateral meeting between the EU and Kenya. And the focus of the meeting was digitizing trade, opening new opportunities for people to work differently. And it is the reason why, as Government of Kenya, we've been trying to diversify opportunities for young people, to give them an array of opportunities, whether it is in our housing program, in our markets, in agro-processing, value addition, in our special economic zones and the agricultural sector, or going all the way to the expanded digital footprint around the country, internet footprint that provides digital jobs, digital opportunities going into digital commerce, and what people can do on the internet, be able to sell wares, be able to sell stuff, be able to work on a digital space, or even labor mobility, giving more young people opportunities to work, not just around their villages, not in the towns they are familiar to, not in Kenya possibly, but working elsewhere and sampling opportunities. So I think what His Excellency the President has said is young people must be able to be open-minded, not rigid about the opportunities that are available, and they cut across different sectors, different countries, different professions, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you must stick to your profession. I think what the President is saying, let's be open-minded about the opportunities out there and try and make the most and the best out of the opportunities that come our way. We will continue to work with friends to improve on our education, to improve on our training, so that we can make young people much more versatile, much more agile, to adapt to different situations and different opportunities that come their way. And I think that's the way to the future. I think the traditional way of work is changing. The workspace is changing. The formal 8 to 5 is changing. The having to put on a suit and go to an office is also changing. There are many people who are now working from home. There are many people who are working differently, and all that is part of the new norm as we are looking at it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. That will bring us to the end of this. A round of applause in appreciation and gratitude. I request that we all be upstanding as we allow Your Excellencies to also exit at their own pleasure. Thank you very much, Your Excellencies, for those interventions.